Hello, and welcome to Marriage in Real Life with your host, Eric and Patsy Richards, a podcast about two imperfect people with an imperfect marriage. This podcast aims to help listeners know that God, who is perfect, can use your imperfections and your imperfect marriage to help others. So let's laugh and learn. I hope you enjoy the episode, and let's get straight into it.
Well, welcome to Marriage in Real Life.
Yes,
Yes, I'm Eric.
And I'm Boss Lady P.
All right. Well, we're so glad that you could join us this evening. You could have been doing something else, as I say, on prayer and everything else. But you decided to join us, and we're so glad that you could join us. I know we're late. I know that we're late, but we had some little technical difficulties, but we are here.
Yes,
and I'm so glad that we're here. This is the last episode of this season, right?
Yes, it is.
Last episode of this season, and so we're going to do a season recap of what we talked about this season. But before we go to that, we always talk about things that happening in 3 weeks. So it's been 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks, right?
3 weeks. Yes.
We celebrated Juneteenth.
Yes, that was awesome.
Juneteenth. All right, that's Juneteenth. All right, so we had Father's Day. Yeah, shout out to all the fathers.
Shout out to all the fathers.
Shout out to all the fathers. And I redeemed, myself. We went to Top Golf.
We did.
Yeah, Nikki, she got lucky, beginner's luck. Yeah, but then I put that thing on all y'all, boy.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. So I get a shout out to Eric, and a shout out to all of the fathers out there. Shout out to them. The next, I guess kind of the next thing is kind of sad, but Nikki moving.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she moved, but no, it's not sad.
It's not sad.
It's joy.
It's joy.
New beginning.
Yeah, it's a new beginning. We had to do like Moses' mother. I always look at that. Whenever we're always been ones to not keep our children from leaving the nest. We believe that we've given them the resources to be out there on their own and everything like that. We know, and they know that if push comes to shove, they need to come home, they can come home. Absolutely. But we believe that, look, do your own thing, because, you staying in our house, we got rules, we got all this kind of stuff, and then you don't want to abide by them. So, do your own thing. We're here to support you as much as we can, but we want you to do your own thing. And so we've given our kids the tools to do that, and all of them are successful in what they're doing. All of them are successful. I want to give a shout out to all our kids. Well, this is our applause for you. All right. And in that, we had a birthday today. Erica, my oldest, my second oldest. Yeah. She turned 40 today. Ooh, Lord.
Be happy with you telling people that.
She put it all on Facebook, and then, and then my oldest grand, she put it out there talking about, my mom turned 40, she old. Oh, well, I said, girl, please, But 40, wow, But I think we look good to have a child 40. And Peaches will be 40 in September, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So I think we look good. So I wouldn't give a little applause. I know I'm giving a lot of applause tonight, but this is our last thing, so a lot of applause for us. All right. All right. So, again, this is our last episode. And throughout the summer, for this season, and throughout the summertime, we may have some pop-up sessions. So it's very important that people subscribe, right? Hit that bell, be notified, not only subscribe, but get the notifications. So you can be notified when we are live and because we're going to do pop-ups, and we might do a man-only session. Okay. All right. And hopefully,
I don't know about that. Don't put that on my plate.
Oh, boy, we ain't going to put that on your plate. All right. We don't want to promise anything, but we're going to have little pop-up sessions. All right, so are we ready to go? Just want to know that, at the end, people can call in and they can ask questions. Mm-hmm. If they want, they can call in and ask questions, and we'll try to answer their questions, any questions they want. All right. All right, cool. So we ready to go. Just
I
recap.
got to mention one thing.
Well, go. Let's talk to me.
Okay, so we went to a live session concert at Carolina Music.
Carolina
Oh, my goodness, it
Music.
was awesome. Yeah, I got this little hat that says "Somewhere Not Sleeping." Is it? That's what
Yeah.
it says. Somewhere not.
Somewhere not sleeping. Yep. Somewhere not
It's not the
sleeping.
case for me because I sleep. I get my rest. But yeah, somewhere not sleeping. So if you guys like this little bucket hat, hit me up in the comments, and I'll talk to the person that promotes the concert and get your hat out there.
Yeah. We see 7 people watching. Hey, come on, y'all tell us where you're watching from. Give us your name so we can give you a shout out throughout the session, throughout the podcast tonight. And so we want to do that. So we see, who is that, babe? Who is that? Namisha? That's your cousin, right? Yeah. All right. Good to go. All right. So, hey, here's the recap. All right. So we're going to go episode by episode.
Okay.
And we're going to just talk a little bit about it. And then we're going to go from there. If somebody wants to chime in and get a question right from that episode or whatever, they can call. I'm not going to put in. Matter of fact, I'm going to put the information right down there where they could call and keep the Marriage in Real Life podcast in, so they can dial that number and they can go from that way. All right. So here we go. We ready?
Yes,
You ready?
I'm ready.
You sound like you ready. All right. Cool. All right. So episode two. All right. That was the title of that episode was, our past does not control our present. Our past does not control our present. And the synopsis was that we shared real stories of our childhood, and we discovered how we got to let go of our past. If we're going to have a successful marriage, you have to let go of your past.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be some things that happen in your past that you got to let go. And if it's hard for you to let go, and you need help, let go, you got to get the help. Because you can't take too much baggage into your marriage, too much past in your marriage, because your past will hinder your future.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of things that happen in our past that we decided not to take it. And if we brought it, we dealt with it together. We were open enough with communication. That's your word. Communication, to talk about our past, so it won't mess with us, right?
Absolutely.
Right. All right. So there's some things, again, that you can't let your past control your present. I don't, and I know you used to tell the girls all the time, especially when they were the little young ones dating and stuff like that. You can't let no young boy destroy your day. Right? You remember that?
Right.
Yeah, right? You can't let them control. And so you don't want nobody from your past controlling your future.
That's the word right there.
Right? Right?
Yes.
Because that's what happened in your marriage. Can you imagine? Can you imagine something that happened to you 10 years ago, 20 years ago, now is controlling your marriage? Right? Wow. Just think about that. Just think about a hand that's over your marriage, you and your spouse, and that person is like a puppeteer controlling your marriage.
And they don't have no idea that that's what they do.
They don't have no clue that's what they're doing, but you brought it in and you let them control. And so there's some things, again, some things that people went through. Molestation, abuse, and all of these kind of things. Maybe your mother or your father didn't, give you encouragement or whatever it is. You have to learn. You have to learn to let it go. It may be hard, but you have to learn to let it go, because if you don't, it will destroy your marriage. It would destroy your marriage. So that was episode 2, where we talked about our past does not control our present. Remember, if you got any questions or any comments, you could call in and we'll hear you. Or you want to put some comments down in the chat. We read the chats, and so throughout the session. So our past does not control our present. I know I talked a lot about it, but what do you think about that?
I totally agree. You can't you can't expect for a person to be the way that you are. And I was in a conversation with my oldest daughter this morning, and I said, we punish ourselves because the person that we thought that person was, or the behavior that we thought that person would exhibit, they didn't exhibit.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we be like, why do I keep falling into this cycle over and over again? Take people for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
When they show you who they are, take them for who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to step back and put your guards up to protect yourself, then you need to step back and put your guards up to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to give anybody the type of control that they could cause mishap in your day-to-day life.
Mm-hmm.
Not just your marriages, in any relationship.
Okay, all right.
And allow them to have that power. And a lot of times, they have no clue that you have given it. You've given them that power.
Wow.
You gave it to them.
That's it.
Now they're controlling your every thought and
Mm-hmm.
everything. And I'm not a good person. This happened to me because, if you don't let it go, in every relationship that you get involved in, you're going to bring that stuff from the past, how you felt, how hurt you was. You're going to bring that to the forefront. So whoever you're with, they got a whole bunch they got to deal with to prove to you that I'm not that person. I love you. If you allow me to love you,
Mm-hmm.
you got to take the barriers down.
All right. Look like we got a person calling in.
Okay.
All right. We got a wireless caller. All right. All right. All right. Tell us your name, and you calling in. You got a minute, to tell us your question and your comment. All right. Get your name and where you calling from.
Demisha, I'm calling from Fort Lauderdale.
Okay. Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine.
All right. Go ahead.
Question. I have a problem with leaving the things in the past. In my past, in my childhood, I didn't have a very childhood. And I was often, had problems with my stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
And the abusive things that he used to say to me in my childhood, it's like sometimes when my husband's talking to me now and he makes suggestions about my kids and stuff like that, it always triggered me back to my childhood. And then I have to try to figure out, like, he's not trying to, like, talk about them in a bad way, but when he's saying something about them, I always go back to my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminds me of what I went through with my stepdad.
Okay. Well, let me ask.
It's kind of hard to, go ahead.
Yeah. So have you talked to your husband about what happened in the past with your stepdad?
I talked to him about a lot of stuff in the past. Like, he would want to leave it in the past. He don't really want to discuss it.
Okay. Well,
but it takes effect on me in my day-to-day basis. So.
Right. I would suggest, this is just me, I would suggest, I know your husband probably saying, I don't want to deal with it. But that's something he has to deal with. And you have to deal with it together, because, again, you brought it in. And to me, I mean, if you brought it in, there's something that we got to deal with, communicate. We got to talk about it. And so either we're going to talk about it together or we're going to go to therapy and talk about it to some kind of, but you have to deal with it. You must deal with it because, again, you're talking about your kids, right? And so eventually it will just go over to argument.
Kids.
And even the adult kids, I mean, you're still dealing with it. And so what happened with your stepdad, with whatever happened, you have to, like Pastor and I say, you have to learn first, you have to forgive. And you have to forgive by faith. You may not want to forgive. It may have hurt you or whatever. But again, look at this. Something that happened way in the past now is controlling your marriage of you and your husband. Because it happened way in the past. And so you have to, as an individual, you must come to grips with it. You must deal with it. And how you deal with it is through prayer, therapy, however you want to do it, and talk about it. But you got to talk about it. You got to deal with it. Either you're going to deal with it by yourself or say, I'll give it to God, and say, God, it's all yours, and don't pick it up. Because even as I was preaching yesterday, whatever you are anxious about, Paul says to give it to God because he cares for you, right? And so you may be able to do it by yourself, but if you can't do it by yourself, you need to seek some kind of outside source to help you deal with that. Because it's going to constantly be a trigger. And then you have to your husband has to deal with it because those words will constantly trigger that. You got anything to add, babe?
Yeah, and I would just add to that, like, if a certain tone that he uses when he's speaking to the children, or a certain body language, whatever.
No, it's not. It's not. And my thing is, it's not the tone. Like, my husband is real mild and pleasant, right? But it just, as he complaining about the stuff that they do, and I need to say this to them, and I need to say that to them, and I think maybe it's just that I'm overwhelmed with a lot of stuff. But it's been, sending me back to my childhood lady.
What I would say this: something is triggering you. If something is triggering you, and you have to find out what is triggering you.
Yeah.
You got to find out, because if it's reminding you of something, if it's a color, if it's a smell, if it's a tone, if it's words, something is triggering you. And until you find out what is triggering you, you can't really talk to your husband about it, because you don't know, and he won't know.
I don't know what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to find out what is triggering you. You got to, because again, you're going to go and tell him saying, well, babe, you said this, and he tried not to say it, but it comes up again. He said, well, I thought you said if I don't say this, it won't trigger you. But you said, well, I thought it was that. No, find out what is triggering you, and deal with what is triggering you through therapy, through communication with your husband, however, but you have to find out what is triggering. So that's what I said. I said that you need to maybe go to a therapist, a clinical therapist, and say, okay, I'm having this, and let that therapist work out, okay, this is what's triggering. No, that's not what's triggering. Maybe that's what's triggering, and go about it that way. All right?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, I found that.
All right. Find that trigger.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you for calling.
All right.
All right.
Love you guys.
Love you too. Bye-bye. All right. Good. That's good. That's good right there. All right. All right, so that was episode 2. Finding that, that's good. We got to find that trigger, whatever it is. Whatever that trigger is, and we got to deal with it. Mm-hmm. Because, again, you see how that is something that happened?
Yeah.
She's grown, and it's affecting this, but she don't know what it is. So she has to figure out what it is. All right, so that's episode 2. All right, so episode 3. Episode 3 was how to give your marriage a fresh start in the new year. How to give your marriage a fresh start. And we started out, we gave 5 things. It's from Dr. Les and Leslie Parrott, and it was 5 things. One, you start the year with gratitude. Mm-hmm. So you're thanking God, you thanking God for allowing you to have your marriage another year, or you going into another year or whatever. And to me, I think the gratitude, not only the marriage, but I thank God for my spouse, putting up with me, with your beautiful smile. And so I give God gratitude, I give God gratitude for allowing me to be the best husband that I could be, Thank you, baby. And so you got to give thanks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, thanks. The scripture says in everything give thanks, even in your bad situations, good situations. But man, started with gratitude, and then 2, make prayer a daily priority. Mm-hmm. Make prayer a daily priority, and that should be something that we should be doing daily. Praying, pray without ceasing. Don't stop praying. Praying for yourself, praying for your spouse, praying for your children, praying for your family. And look, I want to say this to all of the guys. Don't rely on your wife to pray. You should be the leader in praying. Mm-hmm. She should know. She should be able to feel that you're praying. She should be able to know, because if we're going to talk about it, if you want your wife to be submissive to you, you got to follow God. You got to follow God. And so, so that's number 2. Number 3 is forgive the past year's wrong. There we go, that word again, forgive. The past year's wrong. Whatever happened in the year, let's write it down. We know what happened. Let's forgive it. We can't take what happened in 2022 into 2023. We can't take what 23 to 24 as far as the wrongs. That's what it says, the past year wrongs. You talked to me or you looked at me like that. Well, I take that into 23. We had an argument about it. We talked about it, and then we dealt with it. And so we don't need to bring it in. All right. Number 4, learn something new about one another.
Have you learned anything new about me so far?
Yeah, I learned everything. I learned something new about you. I learn something new about you every day, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are a person that I need to learn
Daily on a daily
on a
basis.
daily basis. I got to learn something about you. No, no, it's good to learn something. Even like your favorite colors changed.
You noticed.
Yeah, your favorite colors changed. See, I noticed that. Certain.
Still purple.
Mine's still purple now.
It's because I'm undecisive. I just can't really make up my mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, you found out what I liked. You learned something that you found out what I like to see you dressed in.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm not wearing it.
Yeah, that's all right. All right. So learn something new about one another. And then number 5, commit to better love. Commit to better love. Say this year, say, hey, are we going to do this together? We're going to love one another. Whatever it is, we're going to do it. All right. That was episode 3. That was episode 3. Episode 2, our past does not control our present. Episode 3, how to give your marriage a fresh start. And episode 4 is marriage chore wars. Now that was a good one.
That was good.
That was a good one. Marriage chore wars, and the synopsis was: chores tend to be frequent and a hot source of arguments in relationship. Look, if you're watching us, if you're watching us tonight, if you believe that chores can be a frequent and hot source of argument, I want you to put it in the chat. I want you to put it in the chat. Just put in there, yes, chores are it. Chores are it. The husband have to do something. The wife have to do something. Chores are it. And so, hey, chores can be a frequent source of arguments. Look, we came up with 3 things from Dr. Paris. There's 3 things. We discussed 3 or 4 tips to alleviate chore wars. Well, that's what we did. Number 1, we said what? Communicate. Well, you can't do nothing without communication.
Right. You just get a piece of paper, go down the middle, put her on one side, and divvy them up.
Divvy it up. And you're communicating. You sit down and you communicate, right? Mm-hmm. That is what you do, Yeah. We used to have the chore for the kids, and it's, hey, you may have to do that. Put it on the big sheet Monday. You take out the dishes. You do this and you do that. You do that. Am I doing better with taking out the dishes?
Yes,
I know that was okay.
Good.
Good.
You're not leaving dishes in the dishwasher for days and weeks at a time.
All right, that's
Thank
good.
you.
All right, good to go. All right, so and that's good to communicate, to let people know what you're failing at and what you're doing good at. Right? Okay. All right. So communication. Number 2 is focus on who is good and willing.
Yeah.
Focus on who's good and willing, who's good at doing certain things, and who's willing to do it. Right? You good at washing the cars, and you're willing to do it to wash the cars.
I am.
Right?
Both of them.
Right. I'm good at what? Grocery shopping, and I'm willing to go grocery shopping.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, good.
Buy it, I'll cook it.
All right, you buy. Okay, all right. And then the third one was don't criticize.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you did criticize me in the beginning.
What are you talking
You
about?
remember you criticized me on how to fold towels.
Oh, yeah. You just kind of suck at that.
Yeah, I kind of suck at that. All right. So so give me you brought a towel, and I want you to show everybody how I think it's on your side over there. I want you to show everybody how you fold the towels. All right. I'm gonna take this mic. I'm gonna put it on this side here. All right. And then I'm gonna put this camera. I'm gonna make it wide for everybody to see. All right.
Can you see?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So this is a towel, right? Fold it in half. You see it's at its half mark. Everybody can see that, right? Then when you lay it down, you take the open part and you fold it halfway. Then you take the second part and you fold it over. So now you got a nice clean towel, side sticking out, and then you roll it 3 times. 1. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Okay. 1, 2. Ooh, wait a minute.
So you're not a fold your own towel.
I don't want to knock anything over.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. So now you got a nice round towel. Then when you put it on the shelf, you put the open part into the wall. So you have that nice round, towel. And it's perfect.
It's perfect.
It's perfect.
Okay, all right.
That's how you fold it.
No.
That's not how you fold it.
That's not how I fold it. I fold it better like that now, but that's not how. But you used to criticize me when I didn't fold it.
I apologize, and I thank you for trying, but you just didn't get it right. So, well.
Okay, all right. Now, for those who, if you are watching and you understood how she fold her towels, do everybody agree on the folding of the towels like that, or does somebody else have a different way of folding the towels? And I could tell you this: if you have a different way,
Ismaitha says perfect.
Oh, geez,
it's perfect.
I know Ismaitha was gonna agree with you,
but it's the truth. If you have this floppy towel, the flaps just hanging out of the closet, it doesn't look neat.
Mm-hmm.
I do my best.
All right, I'm gonna give you applause for that.
Thank you. To make sure your home is nice and neat, and I do that. I do it for you.
All right. Now, if somebody wanted to show us how to fold a towel, I got a way that I could send for them to join us, and they get it fold their towels. All right, cool. All right. So one is communicate, one is focus on who is good and willing, and 3 is don't criticize. All right. So that's marriage chores, and again, they could be a source where people are going at it. You and your spouse are going at it, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want people to be going at it. All right, number 5 was dating while married. Dating while married. You should date while you're married.
Yes.
Right?
I totally agree. You dated before you got married. Why stop now?
Yeah, you're right.
You're on a roll.
So, look, it says, depending on the season of your marriage, maintaining a habit of dating will require varying amounts of effort and intention.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's going to require you to do something, because, we often, time and all of this kind of stuff, we don't have it. And, you know how that go. So you got to be intentional about dating. Every Friday night is what?
Date night.
Date night.
And of course, we have those spontaneous dates.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday, we be like, hey, let's go to the movies.
Yeah.
Or let's do something like that.
Right. Bishop, even our pastor, Bishop, look, if he called on Friday night, he always say, hey, I got to get permission to talk to me through you. And then he'll say, I ain't gonna hold him long. And then Ma Banks be like, why you calling him?
It's date night.
Mm-hmm. All right. So these are some, this is right here. These are some 6 dates to master throughout the marriage. All right. So number 1 is the at-home date.
Mm-hmm.
And we've done that where we just sat at home, watched the movie, ordered food or made our own food, did a basket. We've even done it in our bedroom.
Yeah.
Right? Man, we just kick out King because, King always want our food.
Yeah, he do.
Yeah, I'm telling you, King, boy, I tell you.
Anybody want a dog?
She ain't going to give the King up. She talking all that junk. She ain't going to give King up. So you got to have the at-home date. Do it at home, whatever it is, at home. Now, the at-home date is something that you're doing together. And it's very nice when I tell you, we, especially men, we can't rely on our wife to do the at-home date. Can you imagine? How do you feel when I do the at-home date, when I come up with everything?
Relieved that I don't have to plan it, that it just happened. And I think it's just so adorable when you call me in the middle of the day at work and be like, hey, what's up, you? And I'd be like, nothing, what's up with you? He's like, I want to take you out tonight. I'd be like, I'm going on a date. And everybody be like, you going on a date? I was like, my husband just asked me out again. So I think it's really sweet and when it's definitely spontaneous. Like, I want you to, get all dressed up and look pretty and stuff like that. And so after that phone call, hang up the whole time from the time that I hang up with you until the time I get home, I'm thinking about, okay, what am I going to wear? How am I going to look? What look am I going for tonight? How I want to get his attention tonight. So I think that's great. And it makes me feel good.
Yeah. And I think we had a picture of the Valentine's date that I did. Remember when I in the back, man? That was
sweet.
Yeah,
that was
sweet.
Very sweet.
All right. So number 1 is the at-home date. Number 2 is the spontaneous date. You know, again, like a Tuesday or whatever, spontaneous, let's do something. Number 3 is the reconnection date. And that was all about, maybe we been, working too much, dealing with the kids, and we just need to reconnect. Or maybe we had an argument that we really didn't solve, or we solved it, but we just got mad at each other. We just need to reconnect. We need to just cut everything out, no phones, whatever. And we just need to have this reconnection where we sit down, not talk about problems, but just talk about how much I love you.
Ooh.
Yeah. All right now. All right. So the next one is the something new date, where you do something different. Hey, let's go skydiving. Or when we for Father's Day, when you took me to Top Golf, we never had done it before. Not Father's Day, but Mother's Day. When you said, I want to go Top Golf. I'm like, what? Top Golf? But it's something new, and it was just me and you out there, and so that was something good. Number 5 is the tradition date. Well, it's, let's go out. Like every Friday night, it's like a tradition. You know what I mean? So something like that. And number 6 is the all-out date, where you just go all out. You get extravagant. You dress up. You do everything, man. You go to the most expensive restaurant that you can afford.
Absolutely.
Right? Somebody, what I told you about the restaurants. When you go to restaurants, if you have to go and look at the price tag of how much a meal costs, then that's the wrong restaurant to go to.
That's right.
If you're trying to do the all-out date,
get the $5 bag.
Yeah, I'm telling you, better go to Wendy's. $5 and $6 bag now.
But there are some very nice restaurants out there that are affordable.
Right.
So, don't throw in the towel just yet. Don't head over to Wendy's.
Right. All right. So that was the dating while married. That's dating while married. I'm giving y'all some tips. Number six is fight for your marriage.
Absolutely.
Now that episode was the most downloaded episode in the podcast.
Yes.
Fight for your marriage.
Get a hand clap on that.
All right.
Yes, and it's so important.
It is so important because things will come in, life will happen, where you have to, be intentional on your dates. And we know we're Christians, and so we believe that the enemy does not want marriages to happen. You made a commitment, you made a covenant. You made a covenant. You didn't make a contract. You made a covenant before God and before all the people. And sometimes people don't want you to stay married, so they'll come up with all kind of things, and they're praying for you not to be married. It's craziness, and you have to fight for your marriage.
Yeah.
One of the things we talk about is the WWE. You have to tag team. You have to tag team because, I know you don't know anything about wrestling, but look, you have a tag team, one person's inside, the other person is on the outside waiting to be tagged, got his hand out, and maybe you have somebody on the opposite team that's trying to get your attention, so you can't tag. And that's how the enemy works. He's trying to get your attention and trying to take you off your post, trying to take you off from the wall so you can't tag in when your partner's in trouble, right? And so you have to fight for it. And you got to know this in your marriage, that your marriage is already victorious. Your marriage is already, you have to walk in the victory. It's already a fixed fight, but you have to fight for it. You have to fight for it. In the arguments, you have to say, look, sometimes you have to say, I'm sorry, and sometimes you may be right as I don't know what, but sometimes you have to say, I'm sorry, I didn't, whatever, I misunderstood, and you have to give in sometimes. Marriage is 100, and it's a give and take. That's what marriage is, and so that's all about fighting. You have to put your ego aside.
There you go.
Oh, man, I gotta give me applause on that one. You got to in a marriage, you got to put your ego aside because you can't always be right.
No.
You got to put your ego aside. So, that, the main point of that was don't fight with your spouse, but fight for your spouse. Woo, that was good.
That was good.
Yeah, that was the main point. Don't fight with your spouse, fight for your spouse. And I'm going to read this because I want people to understand it, because I was thinking about this when I left and came back. So I was thinking about this. All right. The Message Bible reads Ephesians 5:22-33, and it's very important because that's why I want to read it. It says, and I'll listen to this. Wives, understand and support your husband in ways that show your support for Christ. The husband provides leadership to his wife the way Christ does to his church, not by domineering, but by cherishing. So just as the church submits to Christ as he exercises such leadership, wives should likewise submit to their husbands. He says, husbands, go all out in your love for your wives, exactly as Christ did for the church, a love marked by giving, not getting. Christ's love makes the church whole. His words evoke her beauty. Everything he does and says is designed to bring the best out of her. That's what Christ does for us, and that's what husbands we're supposed to be doing for our wife. Everything that we say brings the best out of our spouses. Dressing her in dazzling white silk, radiant with holiness. And that is how husbands ought to love their wives. They're really doing themselves a favor since they already won in marriage. So if I'm loving you, if I'm treating you, if I'm uplifting you, I'm doing it for me because we won.
Yes.
If I come down on you, if I abuse you, that's why when people say, "Oh, you can't get divorced because of abuse." Oh, yes, you can, because if I'm not loving you as Christ loved the church, that means I'm not doing what God told me to do. If I'm beating on you, I'm beating myself. I'm not loving me, right? And so the King James Version says, "For this reason, the man will leave his wife and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." It says, look, this is what it says in 29:30. No one abuses his own body, does he? No, he feeds and pampers it. That's how Christ treats us, the church, since we are part of the body. And this is why a man leaves father and mother and cherishes his wife. No longer two, they become one flesh. This is a huge mystery, and I don't pretend to understand it all. What is clear to me is the way Christ treats his church, and this provides a good picture of how each husband is to treat his wife, loving himself in loving her, and how each wife is to honor her husband. And I'm going to tell you, this is what I came up with. I know you're looking at me, boy, look at here. But this is what I came at. When you look at these verses, somebody who's there, who's watching with us, count how many verses Paul speaks to what the wife is supposed to do versus how many verses he speaks to what the husband is supposed to do.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
How many? Y'all know y'all there. I know Izzy is there. I know Harold Sampson. I see you there. Look, y'all got y'all Bibles. Y'all look in there. Let us know how many verses does Paul speak to the wife versus how many verses does Paul speak to the husband. I would tell you this.
None.
He speaks more to the husband than he speaks to the wife.
I don't recall him saying much to the wife.
Yeah, he just starts out with the wife. He ends up with it. He got a little bit, but he's speaking more to the husband because the husband has a lot of more responsibility, and the marriage will go as far as the husband treats his wife.
That's deep right there.
Boy, I got to give myself applause on that one. The marriage will go as much as the husband treats and loves his wife.
But what if you have a husband that treats and loves his wife, but his wife is carrying baggage that she can't move forward from? What do that husband do in that situation? Because that's kind of like a mental abuse toward the husband now. Right.
So if the husband is recognizing this, he as the leader says, okay, baby, we're going to get a stalemate here. As the leader, you recognize the problems that's going on around you.
It's just true.
Right? Mm-hmm. You recognize. That's what I'm saying. Husbands, we want to, a lot of husbands want to dictate, this and this and this and that. And we're going to talk about more what I think our man, what a leader.
Listen,
our time is up. But if he's gonna lead, then he'll figure out that, okay, my wife has some baggage. We need to talk about this. We need to communicate. How do we need to rectify this? Maybe we need to go therapy. However, but our marriage is not gonna go as far as this baggage is, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the way it should go. All right, we're gonna move along. Because we want to make sure we get some questions. All right, number 7, my wife's strong personality. Now that was a good one because people was calling in about it.
Topic right there.
Huh? That was a hot topic. That was a hot topic. Yep. So we know that in that we discuss how a wife with a strong personality can either help or hinder a marriage, right? And I would say that you do not want to change your wife's personality because you're going to need it. You know what I mean? You're not there to change nobody, right? Mm-hmm. And we don't want to use the word tame because you didn't like that word, did you?
Absolutely not.
All right. Good to go.
Amen.
Yeah. All right. So when we talked about it, it's a problem that may arise in a strong-willed woman's marriage is that because society has a perception of what marriage should be, right? Society has a strong perception of what a woman should be, especially a black woman. Mm-hmm. That is quote unquote the angry black woman. And so you have that, and so you need to be who you are, but as you're being who you are, understand some conflicts that can come between the two of you if that occurs. You got to understand if you strong-willed it, it may have some conflicts, and you got to know how to deal with it. So you could be who you are. I ain't changing for nobody. Well, you ain't got to change, but your marriage may cause some conflicts, right? You got to recognize that. Number two, a wife could start disrespecting and running over her husband, right? Mm-hmm. There is a level of respect. There is a level of God-ordained order, and that's it. It is God's ordained order. It's not my order. It's not, some people have messed up the order, but we just read God's order is good as long as the husband is doing what he's doing. Then it's going to be easy to say, okay, baby, wherever you lead me, I'm going to follow. Because you're loving me, you're adorning me with good dresses. Come on now. You say, okay, you prayed about it? Yeah, I prayed about it. I think we're going to be good. All right, baby, let's go. Right? All right, so you can start disrespecting. So number three, you need people that can be strong enough to interact with you. All right? You're going to, if the husband is so weak, right? The husband is so weak and you're a strong personality, you're going to run the marriage. So the husband has to say, look, got to come out of his comfort zone of not being so weak and say, okay, we're going to talk about this. Let me stand strong. Let me not be weak in this thing. Because if not, the wife is going to run the marriage, And all right. So that's it. It's good to have a woman with a strong personality. I love your personality. Thank you. Because I need it. Right? We complement each other. My personality is not a, go in your face person. My personality is, whatever. While your personality is, we're going to do it. We're going to talk. We're going to do it, and we need that.
When you say that, it makes me feel like I'm this.
No.
I don't want to be perceived that way. I'm not going to allow people to walk over me. Definitely not walk over you or my children. I need to let you know this is where I stand in this. But I don't want people to feel like, oh, we can't approach her. Because even somebody said one time we were in a service and they was like, oh, because your first lady ain't your typical first lady. She going to put you in your place. And I was like, whoa, I don't want people to perceive me that way. I want people to be able to. Yeah, we got way off topic, didn't we?
No, that's
people to be able. I want to be approachable. So if someone say, Lady P, I need you to pray for me. I want them to feel comfortable enough to come to me and ask me, can I talk to you for a minute? I don't want to be that, but you always portray me as if I need something done, I'm calling my wife. Like, okay.
So how?
And then you buy me a gun.
Hell yeah. Hey, we can't say that. We don't say that on the guy. So what should I say?
If I need something done that's getting out of my hand, I have Pat to take care of it.
That's saying the same thing.
No, it's like, cause I think it's the way you say it. Oh, but these jokers, they had me all upset, and I was like, you know what? Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, here's what's gonna happen. Hey, babe, I need you to call these people and tell these people off. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, what happened? So and so I think that's where it is. Just I guess I don't know. I don't know how to tell you how to say it. But don't make me seem like I'm such an aggressive person. I don't want people to feel that I'm aggressive. You don't cross me, I don't cross you. I treat people the way I want to be treated, and I expect that in return. But when you show me who you are, if I walk away with my hands up, then we're done. But if you approach me, we gotta talk.
All right. So we'll put it out there. Anybody out there, you can write it in the chat, or you can call in and tell me what I should be saying.
Okay.
All right. All right. We're going to move along. We want somebody call. Okay. Episode 8 is how to get your partner to listen to you. All right. We said number 1, choose an appropriate setting.
Mm-hmm.
You don't, you just want to choose appropriate setting, maybe at a lunch or, a place like that. Get your partner to listen to you. Number 2, ask if it's okay to have a conversation. Because you may be busy, your mind may be going somewhere, whatever. You say, hey, babe, I need to talk to you. Is it all right now before we could talk? And you can say, well, in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes. And, and then I come back in 10 minutes, hey, I'll be ready. But if you're busy doing something, say, babe, I'm so sorry. It's how you say it. Babe, I'm so sorry. I thought I'd be finished in 10 minutes. Just give me time and whatever. Then we know that you're not being brushed off, okay? So number 3 is sit beside your partner instead of across from your partner if possible, right? And I know we had a little disagreement with that, but I think Izzy too. Izzy had a problem with that, and I think sometimes when you're sitting next to each other, you feeling them, you still that love, that heat from that love, when you're sitting across from somebody, it's like a meeting.
I know, but I think the discussion on that was like when I'm sitting across from you, I'm looking you in your eyes, you look at me in my eyes, so I can perceive that you hear where I'm coming from, or you hear what I'm saying, because we making that
eye contact. Okay.
But if you're sitting next to each other, you gotta.
You see?
Like, you understand what I'm saying? And then you turn your head back this way, and then you understand. You hear me? You feel me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that could be a bit awkward.
That could be a bit. Okay, all right, cool. That's good too. That's good too. All right. Number 4 is be direct. Don't beat around the bush.
Absolutely.
When we come to talk, we come to talk. Don't be, as Jesus told, he was telling the disciples, don't pray like them other ones. They just pray them long prayers, or they out the ones pray with words, So they just got all these big words and stuff like that. They beating around the bush. Get straight to it. Jesus like, look, just come and pray, And so we got to be direct, even talking to our spouses. Number 5, do not nag.
Yeah.
All right, do not nag. We good with that? We need to discuss that?
No.
Okay, we good with that. Number 6 is use I statements. Like you would say, I feel pressured when you don't listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel, this is how I feel, not, somebody, not be laying, my girlfriend don't feel pressured. No. It's me and you. I feel pressure. And number 7, listen in the same way that you want to be listened to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Listen. That's part of communication, is listening. That's part of prayer, is listening. And sometimes we don't listen. We don't open up our head. When the other person is talking, we all looking all sideways. We saying things. We start saying things in our mind, how we gonna reply.
Yeah, without even listening to what the other person is saying. Because like what you're saying, really at this particular point in this argument, it doesn't matter, because what you got to say, I got something for you. So it never becomes resolved.
Right.
It's like, and then you're yelling and yelling and yelling. So now neither one of you are hearing each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of like a lost cause.
Lost cause, right? Yeah. So we got, we got
nothing done.
Get nothing done. And so like how we talked about, you got to be active listening. So you say something, and that forces you to listen to a person, because now I have to repeat it back to what you said, right? I have to repeat it back. Babe, you this is what I heard. This is what I heard you say. Such and such, such and such, such and such. And you'll say, no, that's not what I said, or yes, that's what I said. All right. And so once that is there, so you cannot be talking all out the side of your neck and trying to listen, because, hey, I got to repeat it back. So you better, your best bet is to listen.
I have a perfect example today. We had a little mini business meeting, and you came in and you said this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay. And then I said, well, just so I have this correct, let me repeat this back to you.
Right.
Make sure I'm understanding where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's that. We go so active listening can work in any situation, but mostly for the marriage, you want to be able to repeat back what the other person has said to you. So make sure you get it, your understanding of it. Like I used to tell the girls all the time, I say, you can write something on Facebook in one way and mean it totally one different direction. And someone else may come along and be like, oh, she talking about me,
Mm-hmm,
you know, because of the way they perceive it, the way they're coming from, or not having that actual dialogue. So I used to tell them, you know, just really be careful about what you put on there, as far as what you mean. And so, and it goes back to marriages. If you say something to me and I'm like, wait a minute, did he just call me stupid? You know, or something like that.
Oh, you know.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And so
Never
then
call my baby stupid.
I know, babe, but I'm just using it as an
Okay,
example.
okay.
Like, we had this conversation. You just called me this. Did you just call me that? And you be like, oh, wait a minute. No, that's not what I said. You know, I said stop acting like you are. Oh, okay, but I still feel a little about it. You know. So yeah, so active listening and making sure the communication is open is key. You're definitely gonna have to be able to have that downtime and just really talk about affairs, what's going on in your lives, how you feel about certain things, different things like that.
All right. So episode 9. The last episode before this, we talked about PDA, public display of affection.
That was fun.
That was fun too. That was good too. And so we listed 5 things when we talked about PDA for Christian couples. All right, and we said number 1, are we causing others to stumble? So if we out there kissing and doing all this other stuff, are we causing others to stumble? Because people are looking at us, and as Christians, we are responsible not only for us, but for other people that's looking at us, you know, and that's what we got to make sure that our affection is not causing nobody else to stumble. Number 2, are we inspiring others? So our affection should be, you know, inspiring others. As we said, you know, people look at us and be like, man, I want that. I want like what y'all got, you know, I want, you know, cause you show your wife, you love your wife, and your wife will show you that you know, love you. So I want that. And so we want to make sure in your marriage, if you're doing public display of affection, that you're inspiring somebody. Number 3, are we being considerate of others? You know, we don't want to be in a situation where, you know, we married couples and we going out with some single people and we all affectionate and all that stuff. And they looking at us like, man, you know, I want that or whatever. You can do that like hopefully with some other married couples, because hopefully other married couples are showing some kind of affection, you know. And so you just want to be that you are considerate of others. Number 4, is it helping us nurture our marriage relationship? Or we just out there just doing it just to show somebody? Or is it helping build up our relationship? Is our public, you know, is our kissing, our holding hands, our touching one another, is it helping us our marriage grow? And number 5, are we exercising self-control?
Very much.
Yeah. We want to make sure that we you're so funny, Pat. You know, you want to make sure that you are exercising self-control, that you ain't out there, you know, and you're all hot and heavy. You say, oh, you know, you at the mall, all the hot and heavy, and you're like getting it on.
It'd be like,
yeah, and all this
nobody
stuff.
see you. Come on
Go in
in.
the dressing room.
You know what? He'll let me talk him into coming down with me.
You've talking to me to do some crazy things. I'm telling you.
He did it.
Yeah. You're talking to do some crazy things, you know, in affection way. All right, then. So we're gonna be. That's for another topic. All right, that's for another time. Maybe next season we'll go into that. All right. So so that was a public display of affection. So that was kind of like the recap of our 9 lessons, and I think we had fun.
Yeah.
We had call-ins. I mean, Samantha would call in. Your cousin Melissa would call in from Atlanta. We had Tyrone call in from Atlanta. Man, we just had people calling in, and I would say. I just want to give applause, and this is why I want to give applause. We had people from Asia, from Germany, from Russia download our podcast. So we thank God for that.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus. Amen. So, hey, we got about 5 minutes. If you can call in, if you want to call in and just, hey, we got a minute. You call in, you say what you got to say. If you been with us, if you've been enjoying the podcast, come on, tell us. You know, if you're enjoying, if you got a problem with the podcast, hey, come and tell us too. You know, or if you want to have a conversation, you want to talk about a subject or whatever like that. You know, just hey, come on, call on in. We got a little time that you can call in, and we will take the calls. All right. But, I love you, babe.
I love you too. You tell me that all the time. It makes me feel so special. Yeah.
Wow.
It does. Which was your favorite episode?
My favorite episode was the Chore Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was right there. That Chore Wars. It had me laughing and rolling.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. What about yours?
Oh, I'm trying to think. Which one was it that said spending time with your wife or managing? Oh, dating your wife.
Oh, dating.
Yeah,
dating.
That was one of my favorite ones. It was fun too.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
'Cause I think it's so important to rekindle every now and then. I tell associates and friends all the time that I fall in love with you over and over again. It's because you keep me guessing.
Mm-hmm.
Always doing stuff spontaneous. And even on the days when I love you the most.
Ooh. Okay. All right. We got Nikki. Hey, Nikki. All right. We got Eddie Patton coming in. Hold on, Eddie Patton. All right. We got Nikki. Hey, Nikki, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Dad. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm missing you already, but all right. So you got a minute.
Yeah.
We got to give you a minute now. Come on.
I just quick question, just wondering what, topics you guys are going to cover in the second season, because you've covered so many and I've learned so much. Just wanting to know what's in the plans.
We haven't really thought about it. So this summer, I think what we're going to do, we're going to, if anybody have any specific topics that they want us to cover, text us, call us, and let us know, email us and let us know, and we will make sure we try to consider it. I know, like for you, you're saying that, a person that's preparing to get married, you maybe want to talk about that. We may do a season on that. I do want to do a lot of more. I want to do some interviews,
Okay.
I want to do some interviews next,
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so, if you have a specific topic, Nikki, you got our number. I hope.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't wait to hear it.
Well, we do have one pop-up that we're going to do. Can we at least?
Yeah, that one pop-up. Go ahead.
Okay, so the next, we're going to have a pop-up, and the question for that is going to be, what is your top 10?
The top 10 songs that Christian couples make love to.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Nikki?
Whoa, yeah. I would love to have that. That sounds good.
All right.
Maybe, and I like the idea of the conversation about, preparing for marriage, just from your perspective. Any questions that people maybe have about, dating right now and how marriage has changed from when you guys started to now.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you for calling. Love you.
Love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that lump of dog.
Mm-hmm. All right. We got the apostle on the line. The
Hey,
apostle, the right reverend, the bishop, the cardinal, Eddie Patton on the line.
All right now, Mr. Photographer.
Man, I love you guys. Patsy, I don't know how you dealt with him all these years, but certainly you two are the epitome of what marriage in real life looks like. And I think I've told you guys privately, and I'll tell you publicly now, that you are truly the epitome. And in spite of all of the things that I've gone through personally in marriage, I've always looked at what you guys have set as the ground rule. And so I certainly appreciate that. One of the things that I would employ of you going into the next season is to potentially talk about the stability of marriage, the stability of marriage. Because I think in a day and age, I know I only have a minute, but I think the day and age where, you have parents fighting to go to work and fighting to buy bigger houses and, stay in better paying jobs, et cetera, and so on, that we find that the stability of marriage can sometimes be rocked by our aspiration to acquire more things.
Right.
So thank you guys. Loved it. I will go back and listen to the rest of the sessions, but I enjoyed just sitting in and listening.
Man, thank you.
I love you, and I hope you tell me you love me back, because you just told Nikki you love her.
All right.
So I want I love you.
All right. I love you, Eddie.
We love you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. All right. Man, hey, that's my boy there. We've been friends for over a long time. Over 30 years we've been friends.
Wow, that's
over ups and downs. We've been friends, man. So that's my boy there, man.
So good to hear, Eddie.
Yeah, it's so good to hear. All right, so I don't think there's anybody else calling in. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. So it's been 5 minutes. Yeah, so it's been fun, babe.
Yes, it has.
It's been fun, and I can't wait for the pop-up. That's going to be fun, but it's been fun. So I just want to give a last applause for my baby.
For my baby.
That's my baby.
Thank you so much for joining us. You guys made this fun. For all the call-ins and the chat lines. Oh, those were amazing. We couldn't have done it without you guys, so thank you so much. So let's give our audience a
round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Love you.
Right, and remember, please, for YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell for the notification, so you know when the pop-up come. And go and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Cast, TuneIn, iHeart, Spotify. We are Amazon. We are everywhere. So it'll be up. Definitely, it'll be up tomorrow. And do a review, please. That helps us.
Yeah,
do a review. Give us 4 or 5. Now, don't be giving us 1 or 2. All right, give us 5. Make sure you like this video. Please make sure you like this video. And if you want to come back and comment after the video's over, come back and comment. That's how it gets out as well. Because when the comments, people go back and comment, what they like about it, just different things. They can just comment about it. So I thank each and every person for watching, and we will see you on the pop-ups. If not, we will see you next season. Next season is probably August, September.
We got a call.
Oh, no, we don't. I thought we had a call. All right. Izzy say great season.
Thank you.
Thank you, Izzy. Thank you. We can always count on you and Harold. And so we thank you. We can't wait to see you in October. Yes. All right. So we love you, and we'll see y'all later.
If you're hearing this message, you've listened to the entire episode. And for that, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We hope you enjoyed this new episode. And if you did, please rate and review our show on your favorite podcast channel. Please share this episode with others who may be interested in this topic. Also, feel free to let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch in the comments or on any social media networks at Marriage in Real Life Podcast. See you next week for a new episode.